How's it going, guys? Winner Kills here. Welcome to another online feature match. Probably the last online feature match for quite some time. But the fifth and final round. Both of us are undefeated going into this. And we're here on Dueling Book. He gets started with the magical mid-breaker field. And I'm a little concerned at seeing that. But then I see the Doki Doki normal summon. And I'm like, you know what? It's probably Adamancipator. And lo and behold, it is. So getting started with the Doki Doki. I have to actually read what the card does, because this is, believe it or not, with how long Adamancipator has been out, obviously no real tournaments have happened, but this is actually my first time ever playing against Adamancipator. So yeah, take that with a grain of salt. But either way, he starts with the Analyzer. Of course, I'm pretty sure most of the main character looking, whatever you want to call them, Adamancipator monsters, they all have the same effect where they mill the top 5 cards of the deck. And if I believe a level 4 or lower non-tuner rock monster is present among those milled, can be special summoned to the field, or might be level 4. But either way, getting right into the Crystron Halqifibrax. I'm debating here whether or not I want to burn the Phantasme now, or just use the Ash Blossom. And I'm like, you know what? I'll save the I'll use the Ash Blossom here, and I'll save the Phantasme for a possible rebuttal if he per se goes into something like Link Cross. But luckily enough for me, he didn't open up too well, and stopping that Halqifibrax from going through prevents what would have been probably Herald plus Savage Dragon. So either way, I'm going to set my key, as it's probably not going to be too relevant in this matchup, and I'm going to summon Purple Nightfall. And I didn't even realize that Dueling Book now has a feature where you can just hit declare. That way you don't need to type F in the chat, EFF, to say you're using the effect, which is nice. So purple gets me Girsu. Girsu is going through because it doesn't look like he has any interruption on his side of the field. Of course, that's going to send the World Legacy World Armors. I usually opt to send first. I leave the World Legacy World Chalice for later. And I can summon out both the tokens to the field. Just summon his own and put it underneath the Halqifibrax, obviously, to set up the blue sky that I have, which will net me 2 searches. But I think right now he's going to tag into Martial Metal Marcher off of the Needle Fiber, or the Halqifibrax, and that's going to bring back the Analyzer. So what he's doing there is at least is getting rid of the free column that he's essentially given me. But I'm going to go into Lib now, and Lib is going to activate the effect. I'm going to go ahead and set the World Legacy Succession, and he's going to actually go and scoop there. So Pure Mekk Knight taking game 1 pretty quickly. And as I side deck here, I want to mention a quick shout out to Imperium Duelist. If you guys are interested in picking up amazing playmat, sleeves, dice, deck boxes, stickers, etc., check them out, guys, if you haven't already. Because you can get some amazing products from them, and you can get it at a discount using that discount code WinnerKills10 off. Link to their site and that code down below, so check that out if you haven't. And of course, if you guys are buying anything on TCG Player, do not forget to use that affiliate link down below, because any revenue from your purchase, a small portion of the revenue from your purchase, I should say, will go back into the channel, which is very, very helpful. So we're here in game 2. And I start with the Girsu, as he makes me go first, as I kind of expected here. And he has the Ash for the send effect, but luckily I can still resolve the other effective Girsu, which is going to allow me to get into Morningstar's Lib. I can't even actually link summon for Lib, since I don't have any World Legacy cards in the grave. But I can still go into Morningstar, and I'm actually lucky enough here to open the the Indigo in hand to get the optimal discard and the optimal setup for World Legacy secrets. And I use Upstart here, which I probably should have saved, or not saved, but used earlier in the combo, but I guess I deck thinned first, so hindsight's 2020. I guess I'm just mentioning that because I drew the World Legacy World Chalice, and that would have been a really good discard for Morningstar, but again, it is what it is. So he is going to basically survey the situation, opens up the one of again the one of magical Midbreaker field and starts with the Researcher. Researcher's effect will activate here. Going to Excavate 5. Now, the only interaction that I have with him right now is, of course, the potential double monster negate of Indigo. And a DD Crow and a Phantasme. And he's going to go ahead and get, I'm not actually sure what this card is called. It is something idle. The reason why I can't see it on my screen that I'm commentating on is because I have to watch, when I commentate, watch back in reduced quality so I get a smooth playback. But either way, Quick Draw Synchron hits the field, discarding a Doki Doki, and he already has at this point established sort of a Needle Fiber setup, and a Foolish Burial as well, which is just kind of a bit of a blowout here because that's going to get him instant access to Block Dragon. Now here I am thinking, with as unfamiliar as I am with not Block Dragon, but with Adamancipator, I'm thinking they only play one copy of Block Dragon, but boy oh boy was I wrong. But he's gonna link early or synchro early into the Herald of the Arclight, which throws me off a little bit, mainly because I can't now freely activate my secret to bring back Indigo to negate, this effect. So his Needle Fiber is technically going to go through uninterrupted at this point, which is really unfortunate. And typing in the chat here, what else did he use to link off for Fiber? But I forgot that he still had my extra, token on the field that I gave him from Girsu. So I attempt to resolve the Thanos Dragon. It does go through. And I draw into another Thanos and a Dark Lure No More, which is not the cards that I really wanted to see. But I think I predicted and maybe sided for going second. I can't actually remember. That's why the Dark Lure No More is probably still in the main deck. But either way here, the Fiber is going to summon O-Lion, and he's asking again if I have another response. And I think I go for Crow here. To banish the Block Dragon. But it looks, yeah, either that or he's going into Link Cross now. And Link Cross, I think he does obviously go for 2 tokens here to sort of go for the standard Marcher play, and bring back any of his Adamancipators in the graveyard, as they are tuners. At least Researcher, Analyzer, and Seeker are. So of course the 2 tokens will hit the field. And again, I'm still under lock from this Herald. So I shotgun the Secret here. He has a way to negate. I don't really think, unfortunately, there's any way I can get around that. The only other way I think would have been to have preemptively seen that he was going to synchro into Herald. And I do got to admit that did kind of catch me off guard. So now I decide, you know what, I'm going to use DD Crow here. Since DD Crow actually says you have to discard it to the grave. So I did have to force the Herald off the field anyways. And I'm thinking if I clear the Block Dragon, it may, be the only Block Dragon he plays. Because I know Adamancipator usually just gets Block Dragon off of Union Carrier. So I kind of figured that there's only really need to play one of those. But again, I ended up being pretty wrong on that assumption. And you guys will see that here momentarily. But first, he's going to synchro into Martial Metal Marcher. And I'm thinking at least here, so long as I can protect what field I have with the Phantasme, because, I can use Phantasme for a discard to potentially get this World Legacy World Chalice out of my hand, and then also during my turn get a search from it of something like Memory or Succession to try to pop off even harder. So O-Lion gets a token onto the board, and then Marcher brings back the Researcher, and I think he goes into a Link Spider here. So right now I'm thinking, is it going to be something like a Borrelsword play? Is it going to just be a Swift Borrelsword play and into something else I'm not seeing? But here is the Union Carrier, which again I was unsure of if he was still going to be able to do this play, and if he was making it, what else he'd be getting off of it. And he does target the Researcher, I believe. And he equips another Block Dragon from the deck. So this is where I'm like, oh, well, I wish, I would have saved the DD Crow for something else, but it really, at this point, it does not matter. Hindsight is 20/20. So playing more than one Block Dragon, and my assumption going into them playing only one was incorrect. I mean, maybe most people play 1 and his build is slightly different. He plays 2. I have no idea. Again, this is legit my first time playing against Adamancipator, which I know sounds kind of crazy, but it is. So he's going to link those off into IP Masquerade, and of course they'll trigger the infamous Block Dragon Search for 3, which is so powerful in this deck. You know, grabbing Researcher, Seeker, and a copy of Gigantes. So just extenders for days. And he's going to put that Gigantes onto the field. Still has a level 3 token, I believe, from his O-Lion. So has plenty of Synchro fodder as it stands. So he's going to synchro off the Researcher and the Gigantes for a 6. And that ends up being a copy of the Adamancipator Risen Raptite, which I'm familiar with this card because I actually play it in Speedroid of all decks. And that's going to activate. He mills out a Kokimiru statue. Kokimiru monster, which basically can negate monster effects, but destroys itself during the end phase if you do not have a Kokimiru, you know, Iron Core in your hand to reveal. But it has Doki Doki, Tackle Crusader, amongst the other cards that he's revealed. Pretty good, and he's just currently trying to synchro climb, I imagine. At least what I was thinking at this point is trying to get into that Raptite. And I believe that other card that I forgot the name of it was called Weeping Idol. Yeah, because if Raptite comes out, it does not target, and it bounces. So Phantasme really has no say in whether or not he'll be able to stop it, unfortunately. So there's the Seeker hitting the field. So basically getting himself a guaranteed way into the Dragite, and he also has the option to link off with the Tackle Crusader and the Ip and completely wipe my field and leave me with absolutely nothing. So I'm just going to scoop there regardless, and we're just going to head into game 3, where you see me siding in Sanctums, Different Dimension Ground, alongside a copy of Scythe. I was debating on whether or not I put in something like Lancia, but I don't think Lancia is that great outside of just stopping Block Dragon. Something I guess I probably could have sided in, but you know, I'm taking out Mind Controls, taking out Dark Ruler No More, taking out a Nibiru, taking out that World Legacy World Chalice, and I'm thinking, you know what, that is pretty good right there. So, and I'm obviously going to blind go first here. Hope I can open some of my floodgates. I'm also looking at the Cosmics, so, you know, I'm thinking maybe there's going to be a Mystic Mind thrown there. So I'll just put one Cosmic in, so I've got at least one actual main deck out. And I'm going to go first here, 100%. And I do open up Sanctum and Nibiru, so I'm feeling pretty good. This is the biggest moment of the entire video. If you take away anything, this was a misplay. This is what cost me the game 100%. So I decided to use Standby Phase Sanctum, which is really bad because when the Scythe hits the board, he has not committed to the field yet, which allows him upon effect activation to use Infinite Impermanence on the Scythe. And at this point, my heart completely sank, realizing that shotgunning the Sanctum was not the best idea, and it is a lesson to learn and to grow from. It was just a massive mistake. He's going to summon out the Analyzer, and I believe the Madolche Pudding Cessor as well. And I believe he also has the Kwakimiru monster, the Monster Negate, which is, you know, making that Nibiru in my hand look pretty bad, alongside a copy of Exchange. He's going to give me Pankratops as the only card in his hand, and I mean, you might have expected he's going to take the Nibiru anyways. But I'm just thinking how all of this could have been avoided if I would have let him commit to a normal summon or commit to some other play. And you see, I just admit defeat right there, because knowing that I at least locked him out of the extra deck, I probably could have came back and OTK'd next turn. Even if he does take my Nibiru either way, I can still play under 5 summons very easily. Yeah, and it's just I let him play it out a little bit longer just to entertain the thought of possibly not losing this game outright, but it's weird because there's a dichotomy there with the previous round. If you guys saw that versus Infernoid, you know, shotgunning the Sanctum for Lancia was the play, but here I think in a game 3 situation where I'm relying so much so on whatever I summon off my Sanctum to go through that I 100% in this case should have waited, and it's something that I will remember forever. I mean, going 5-0 in an online tournament is not the most impressive thing by any means, but you know, being able to do it would have been a good feeling. But we'll take 4-1. So consider this a loss on a technical play, not really the fault of the Mekk Knight deck itself. Yes, Adamancipator is strong, but I feel like had I played that out correctly, I probably could have taken the game. I have no idea what my next draw was going to be. I didn't save the replay or anything, but as you can see, he's just absolutely popping off here. Martial Metal Marcher into Raptite. Raptite's going to reveal 5. And I think he ends up getting a researcher off of it. Like, what else could you ask for? And with that, of course, comes you know, a Dragite play, and without even resolving first, you know, using the other effect, and that gets the Quackimiru guy, and then it's just so good at this point for him, everything that he has. So yeah, just I mean, I don't even really care at this point, and this is just me complaining, I guess, and making excuses. And he also hard was the block dragon too, and there goes all of that into an Appaloosa with 3 counters on it. Yeah, and I'm just saying I punted the game because I think in real life now I had, you know, when I was playing this, I had just realized if I would have waited for him to normal summon to use Sanctum, I could have stopped this whole play. So I just, you know, I give him the game there. You know, I literally punted the game. So let that be a lesson for all you Mekk Knight players out there. Anybody who wants to side Artifact Sanctum, you know, let me teach you that lesson there, so you can prevent that from happening. But either way, Adamancipator takes the final match of the online locals, the 32-man tournament, 2-1. Luckily, I didn't at least get 2-0'd. I guess it could have been worse, right? But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. I will put my deck list up on the screen here that I used, and that deck list, pretty standard for the most part. Nothing super groundbreaking. It was mainly just the one thing that I really wanted to change going forward was the side deck. I think I definitely want to put Trap Tricks into the side deck and maybe cut down on a Sanctum. Maybe cut that extra Nibiru out of the extra deck. I'm not sure, but the different dimension grounds and like a lot of really good traps that you can play in Mekk Knight. So that when the opponent does ultimately make you go first because you play Mekk Knight, you have plenty of floodgates and stuff to slow them down, which is great. So I really love that synergy. I think I'm going to put Impermanence back in the main deck. I'm not sure. I didn't really miss it too much. I just didn't want it, you know, conflicting with Phantasme and Nibiru, because I think those are fantastic cards. I thought about possibly playing Lightning Storm, but then again, I'm not sure. Lightning Storm's an interesting card, but like, because at that point, if I want to play Lightning Storm, then I feel like I have to cut Phantasme and Nibiru, and I just kind of like them too much as it stands. But yeah, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, guys, Winter Kill signing out. We'll see you guys in the next one. And, of course, a real quick shout-out to my Divine Level channel members here on YouTube, Academic Thick, Travis Harris, and Zors. Thank you guys so much for continuously supporting the channel as you have. It is greatly appreciated, and thank you again, of course, so much for the support.